Hey everybody, welcome back to another JBoz gaming video. This is your host JBoz, and today we're going to continue our map strategy series with Overlord. So let's get into this. Overlord is a fairly open map that has kind of a key piece to it. As typical with any map, you can have kind of different battle modes. The first battle mode, is the encounter, which you'll find the encounter cap circle probably located here, or if Wargaming hasn't changed it, maybe in the second tier. But usually it's here in the lowest tier before the beach. And then, of course, there's a standard battle where you have two opposing flags across from one another. And then, of course, team destruction, which is no cap circles, no flags, just you have to kill the enemy. So in Overlord, there's several ways or approaches to attack the map. I would say the most significant portion of this map is this bell area right here. Not that you have to capture this or go inside of this area, but this will be key. This is where the battle will be fought and won, and that does also go for the encounter battle as well. Now, for team destruction, obviously there's exceptions in that the team can YOLO down one side and win the game, depending on chasing down the remaining foe. But in general, this is how this map plays out. So let's get into it. There is obviously a general route this way that you can take through and around the bell to attack the cap circle. And then, of course, there is a main level here, straight through the middle, to attack the cap circle. And then there's kind of what I'll call a lower tier area that you can actually traverse through in the middle, right here, that you can attack the cap circle. And of course, then there is the beach side, which is the lowest level on the map to attack the enemy's attack circle. Now, there's lots of routes that diverge off of these. It is a fairly open map, but generally this is the highest level on the map. And then it progressively goes down as we go towards the west side of the map. However, the key here is, like I said, the bell, this area right here. I'll kind of outline it in yellow just so you can kind of get a sense of where it's located on the map, general bell area. And so this is where a lot of the brawling will happen. So a lot of the green, in this case, since we're on the green side, a lot of the heavies and mediums will traverse over here and get shots into this angle, because all of these bushes that outline these kind of fields are on elevated little hills. So that provides you cover from enemy. And so you can fight using the hills, and either from the side or just you have good gun depression over the top of them. But the point is that the heavy tanks will move into these areas here and potentially up into the middle here. Generally, heavy tanks should not be going down onto the beachfront. They might hold a flank from the enemy, maybe some lights or something trying to rush and outflank the opposing team. But in general, heavies should not be going down to the beach. I see that way too often. It's taking the heavy's gun out of the fight for way too long, and you shouldn't really be doing that. So those are heavies. Arty, it's a fairly open map, fairly good for Arties. Arties are going to sit back by their cap circle on the back line here. Green Arties will be back on this area, potentially moving into this corner if most of their forces move to the bell. Because if they're sitting over here and a light tank comes up from the beach, that gives them more time to react. Same is true of red Arties. They'll be sitting in this back corner, or at least along the back side. I see many times Arties go down onto the beach, which is possible if you're going to assume that no opposing force is going to use the beach. Usually that is not the case. There's usually one or two foolish people that go down onto the beach, especially light tanks and maybe some mediums that are trying to outflank. They're going to push this flank and probably spot you. That's where the Arties generally sit. Tank destroyers. The green tank destroyers will be, roughly in this area over here. They'll be shooting into the bell area and trying to support any brawling tanks up front. Vice versa, the red tank destroyers will be sitting Here, again, trying to support their brawling tanks around the bell corners. You might find a few tank destroyers, especially in the encounter battle situation, where they're sitting on this side to protect the cap, and that's okay, and that's expected. But generally, the fight is still to win this area and then push west. So you win the eastern bell area, and then you push east. Or in the case of a standard battle, you just push on to a cap. So that's heavies, mediums, and tank destroyers, as well as artillery. So we haven't covered light tanks. Light tanks' role on this map is to obviously do as best they can spotting. And the way they do that is push the bell early to see what forces they're bringing to the bell. You might see or have a light tank push the middle to see what forces they have aligned in the middle. And you could have a light tank push the lower, not the beach, but the lower side, because you can spot most things on the beach from the lower side, and see what kind of forces they have on the, what I'll call the second level. If this is the first, this is the second, and this is the third level of elevation. I would say this would be even a fourth level, this little hill here. But I would say that they could push the second level and see what is there and what enemies are trying to outflank them from the west. Again, looking over this cliff face, which is pretty high, you can spot almost anything on the beach. So there's really no reason or need to run the beach unless you're trying to outflank the enemy and maybe take out a artillery if you know it's on the western side of the map. If it's back here, it's probably going to be all for naught because you're going to be spotted, and if they have forces here, they can turn and quickly protect their artillery. That's why this game plays pretty much, if I kind of drew kind of a general area where green units would be, it would be in this section right here. Most of the forces are going to be here, and even up to the bell a little bit here, but there's going to be kind of a eastern trend to play to the right side of this map. And then red, of course, would also play kind of the opposite. It's going to play pretty much from this direction. So this area. And the reason that is because if you have forces here trying to brawl and win, even if somebody outflanks you, you can turn and still protect your cap if you still have not pushed past the bell. So this is a pretty straightforward map. I think the key to this map is the bell, and I think I've covered all the categories of tanks. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, please hit the like button. And of course, if you like what we're doing here at JBoz Gaming, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to know when we upload the next video, of course, hit the bell icon because that'll give you notifications when I drop the next video. Until next time, tankers, good luck out there, and we'll see you in the next one.